All right, so next on the things that I need to get done, so it'll be one less thing I have parts sitting around the house for, is I need to pull this box out of here. This is the heater core box. It's already, everything on the engine side is already out because it had the air condition box, and I actually have the air condition delete part. But I want to put a new heater core in this car because it's an 80 and I've already got 90% apart anyway. So I think it's about four or maybe six screws left on this side that will drop it out of there. I need to get a hex bit. There is a small screw right there that needs to be removed so I can get this part out of the way, and then that will make pulling that box down a lot easier. All right, so let me find that. Everything else is metric. I got my tools here. I believe it's either a 10 or an 11. I can't really tell, but that's a couple of them right there. So we're gonna knock those out real quick. All right, so I got that vent piece out, and it takes a little wiggling. This is kind of interesting. So this is your defroster, and this is the factory gap from your blower box to your defroster. So basically I've got a half, maybe just a little bit over a half-inch gap all the way through here. No wonder these things weren't the best as far as defrosting and heating things. It doesn't look like there's much room for that box to move up. So yeah, interesting. All right, so the next thing I want to do, trying to figure out here what needs to come off here. I think I can unhook these two screws here, and that will take and move that stuff away from the main box. But yeah, interesting gap. I don't know if I'll be able to close that up. Maybe it needs to be taped or something. Okay, I got it out. A couple things that you have to disconnect once you do that. There is a set of vacuum lines that plug in at the top, and to make life a little easier, this guy here, it's got a vacuum line right here that needs to come off so that you can get the box to drop down out of the way. It's got this weird keeper thing on here. That sounded like there's something rolling around in there. Let's see. I'll try to see if I can get that cable off, because I do need to take this box apart to get this heater core out. There's no simple way to do this. So I have to take that cable out of there, and then we will be able to get that out. And then I can check and make sure everything's working properly. Oh, there's a bolt. That must have been from the old box side. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that cable off, or I might just see about taking this thing apart. We'll see. Back in a minute. Okay, so you do need to unscrew this piece, whether or not you take it completely off the unit or not. But in order to slide that part of the box out, you need to be able to slip it up this track here. So the box isn't in too bad a shape. I do have some broken pieces here and there, but you know, it's old brittle stuff. But it's a good thing I was going to go ahead and change this anyway, because as you can see here, it is already leaking, or has been leaking. And that looks like somebody probably put some stop leak in it at some point. But yeah. All right, so we're going to finish taking this apart. There's a couple of screws here and a couple of screws here, and then I can take this out. I've already taken all the other screws out, and then because this just holds a band. Once I get those 4 screws out, then I can get the new heater core dropped in. All right, so 4 little screws, one there, one there, one there, and one there. The 2 little metal clips that hold it in. And the other thing that you do have to pull out is this. This is on the other side of the box. This goes between the things. You got to pull that out. And then it's a lift and a twist and a turn to make the angle to get it out, but it's pretty easy. Now let's get the new one and I will get it started to put in. Oh yeah, the old one, there's something in it. What? I don't know, but it rattles. So that can't be good. All right, there's a part number for the new heater core. I believe I got this from Rock Auto. I can't remember, it's been a while. There's the new one. I've already matched it up to make sure it's the same shape with all the same bins. Next thing I'm gonna do is try to feed this in here. So if I remember, see, this is the tricky part. Making sure that you get it in the right section. Now it's gonna take me a second. All right, back in a second once I remember how to do it. All right, it took a little bit, but what was hanging me up is, so when I put it in, you want to make sure that the tubes are facing down. So this is the top of the box, you want to make sure that they're facing down. So you put it in and you kind of have to rotate it down. But what was happening is the tube was connecting here on this inner piece before it would allow me to set this flap. So I had to bend the one tube just a little bit to make everything squared up. So it probably got a little tweaked in shipping. But other than that, it was fairly easy. Now we're going to put the straps back in and start putting it back together. All right, so the heater core's back in. The bracket is back in and screwed in. The new gasket is on. The little clamp that holds the two bars from flexing and moving around. The old foam is in decent shape, so I don't really have a way to replace it anyway, so we're not going to worry about it. So we need to screw that guy back on, and we need to put the 4 screws back into this part to hold these two pieces together, and then we can manipulate it back up into the box or to the hole. Okay, got all the screws back in, and the box is back together. So you don't forget to put this vacuum line on before trying to put the box back in. If not, you're going to have one hell of a time. Now, the next thing you got to do is wiggle the box back up in there at a couple different angles, get this part into the engine compartment, and then stand the box up so that you can fit it through that little hole. So that's my next trick, doing. All right, so little easy tip: if you put the left hand side of the box from the passenger side, push that up sort of at an angle till it fits, then you should be able to rotate the box counterclockwise while feeding those 2 tubes into the hole, and it should slip right in. All right, so box is back in, screws are in, nice and tight. Vacuum line there's hooked back up, the vacuum line there's hooked back up. So the only thing I have to do is reconnect this box. There's 3 screws. I'm gonna see how close, if I can adjust making this a little tighter. If I can't get it too much tighter, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it with some HVAC tape just to get the a seal on here, and at least then the defroster will work. But so yeah, that's what we're going to do next. So those 3 screws, once we get this box reattached, then we can start putting all of that back in there, and then we can button up this side of the dash. All right, so with the screws tightened up, and this is adjusted up as high as I can get it, that's it. So I got myself some HVAC tape. I'm going to go ahead and seal it up all the way around, and that way it'll help put the air up on the defroster. All right, so it's all taped up. Now there's no gap, so that'll be nice. At least it'll blow all the air up, and that's good. So next thing we're gonna do is we gotta fish this big piece back up in there and clear all of these cables and whatnot so that it's going to be out of the way. So, all right, that's where we're at. So let's get that slid in there. All right, so I got the centerpiece in. I went ahead and taped around where the joint from this box here goes to the heater core box. because it had some gaps. And then the vent here, I went ahead and taped up right here. I'm going to tape up right there where the elbow actually joins this. It's actually got a little bit of gap. Just since I already, if I'm in this far, I might as well go ahead and do it right. So seal it up the best I can. At least that gets the best airflow through here. And down the road, shouldn't have any problems. But so yeah, the airbox is back in. That's back in. Heater core's in. I just got to hook up the two heater core lines, the hoses, and then top off the coolant. And then I need to see about getting the center dash cluster in the car so I can hook up all the wiring and the fan switch and push to start, just so if I want to try to start it, then it'll be ready. Alright, so the hoses are connected with new clamps. I also got my fuel filter in. This was the only one I could get in here in a couple of days. Like I said, I'm trying to sell the car, so this is just a fill in until either somebody else buys it or I keep it and I put a full-size one on here, but this will work for now. We're also fully connected there, so once the tank's in and I wire up the push button. But I've been looking at this plug here and I noticed that these are pretty corroded, so I may depin this and clean these up, and just to make sure we have good connection inside of here, get this corrosion off this wire. We'll see what happens when I try to start it. So that's where we're at today. So I'm waiting for some wires to come in tomorrow so I can wire the relays to the fan and to the starter. I will also have a relay for the fuel pump. It will be on a separate one as well. And we'll go from there.